Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
let's get started. Okay, somebody else is coming in.
Corporation, and we are in crisis. Tonight, we're going to talk about the closing of Just Elementary School in Tampa, Florida. First of all, let me thank everybody for attending tonight's meeting. Those that are here and those that are looking at us live from our different formats from around the country. What's going on in West Tampa related to the closing of a school and a Black community is national. As a matter of fact, Black and brown schools, some would say, is under attack because of the development. Tonight, we want to talk about the West Tampa community and our fight to save the Just Elementary School using a public-private and community partnership. What you're looking at now is the information we received from one of the websites that does real estate as to what does the country look, what does the country see when they Google Old West Tampa, which is in the area of east of the school, Just Elementary School. About concern is that you'll see that crime is an F, employment is an F, and schools are F. As a matter of fact, violent crime is up 62% in this community. What we're going to be talking about is the West Tampa CDC response to changing all of these Fs into passing grades. So, how do we turn those F grades around? Creating a neighborhood of choice. A neighborhood where no one is left behind, from the poor to the rich, to enjoy the transformation of West Tampa. The focus of West Tampa is on people building people. The focus is on people, place, and things. Tonight we want to share with you our version of neighborhood transformation. The West Tampa community is within 5 miles of West Tampa. There is a many access that's available. That's why West Tampa is high. The other thing that is making West Tampa high is that within 20 minutes of West Tampa is nearly 1 million people. The market is high. And we're using this data to show how we transform communities. Well, West Tampa is defined by the city of Tampa in terms of boundaries in this area right here, and the different neighborhood groups that's included. We have a working relationship with just about all of these neighborhood groups. We believe in a bottom-up approach. The whole strategy was put together by these neighborhood groups to present that we're talking about tonight. It was a bottom-up, community-driven approach to come to where we are now. So what are we saying? What do we get from meetings, focus groups, as well as interviews, surveys? from residents over the last 5 years, although we go back all the way 20 years. We found that affordable housing, unemployment, and underemployment, public safety, strategic, historic fabric of the community, neighborhood unity, economic development, neighborhood condition, and rebuilding lives and families were among the major concerns or critical issues. What are we doing? Moving from stress to success. Turning it all around, curating a neighborhood of choice. We know that poor planning equals gentrification. Smart plans equals transformation. We are reducing gentrification intentionally and by design. So let's talk a little bit information about us, our vision. Now, one of our vision is to build a strong, healthy community that starts from change from within. We strongly believe that in order to provide a community-driven approach, it has to be the residents themselves that sanction and agrees to the strategy. Our methodology is, and it's interesting, is based upon an access mapping strategy that puts together 3 neighborhood disciplines: neighborhood planning, community organizing, and economic development into a single methodology for community revitalization. Related to the access mapping, access mapping part of it. Our strategies focus on access mapping, revitalize the neighborhood to create what we call a local economy. That at the end of the day, instead of the dollar staying in the community 1 hour, that dollar will continue to flip and flip and flip. So another aspect of that is what we call community mapping, where we have gauged neighborhood residents' perception of the community. As you see, we understand the community priorities. We just share that with you. We also identify gaps in services and programs, and or enhance or develop programs to eliminate those gaps. I think another key component is to start to look at how do we redirect community revenue patterns to community businesses. The other thing we did was to identify what assets are present in the community, including individual, man, associations, institutions, etc. Based on that, we obtain community input in the revitalization of the community by making sure that they were part of the concept, the design, and the implementation of the 5-year plan. The end result, or the input of this initiative, will be to create a healthy local community. What was interesting about Nigga, about West Tampa beginning, is that it was able to work with residents in the community to create a strategic plan for transformation. Most strategic plans come from an outside source that comes into the community to work with it to solve this problem. Here was somewhat different. It was the residents working with the West Tampa Cdc to create its own vision, and then to invite the world to the table, be it institutions of higher learning, government agency, entities from around West Tampa came to this first initial meeting from national, state, as well as local groups that attended this meeting. This was an opportunity to show what happens when you build from within. Then, when we look at West Tampa in terms of the way we do things, there are critical components, 3 critical components: economic, social development, and physical development. That merged together presents our multi-dimensional initiative. Economic development, we're looking at different types of things. Economic development, we're looking at monetary capital, building a marketable workforce, attracting new businesses, and strengthening existing businesses, and creating community resources for earned income. Social development, we're looking at social capital, community building, and networking, enhance the quality of life for residents, and enhance social service, among other things. The physical development deals with physical capital related to transportation, land use, and housing, as well as housing, community use, and commercial use. The West Tampa CDC used a holistic, comprehensive, and integrated approach to how do we change the narrative in the community. We look at the children, the child, the family, and the community. And how do we bring together different resources in a holistic manner and comprehensive manner in order to raise the quality of life from the child to the family to the community. That's what's unique about us, what we bring to the table related to the upcoming Just Community issue. And that when we work with the child, we also work with the family and we work with the community at the same time. So let's talk about some of our most recent initiatives.
Yeah, that moves a little bit too fast. Give me 1 second. Let me go back a second. Come back. Okay, give me 1 second while this thing loads. Okay, let me stop.
So let's talk about some of our most recent initiatives.
Okay, so then the most recent initiative, and we're gonna go through really quick, is the Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. This deal came about as a result of the community agreement. What is that? The community benefit agreement. That's what we got out the deal related to that deal. We also are doing public safety, as well as community health initiative. In order to have a safe community, you have to have a healthy community. In order to have a healthy community, you have to have a safe community. Then we're looking at community engagement, and within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be doing surveys. We're going to be doing focus groups to get a feel for what the community wants to see for the next 5 years. Affordable housing is another project we're taking on. And of course, education is what we're talking about tonight, as well as our most recent project, which is the Main Street Initiative.
There are 6 or 7 areas that we're looking at in terms of our response. The first is funding. The West Tampa CDC is uniquely positioned to go after funding. And it is classified by the Senate to the school board as our theory of change, our pathway out of making sure the kids in just elementary school stay where they are and that we provide a higher quality of education to them with our focus on the child, the family.
Okay, so that didn't go well. It was supposed to be more to that. But nevertheless, I think you get the gist as to where we are going at with this initiative. There was a little bit more information that unfortunately it was cut off, but I think you get the gist of where we're going at with this particular initiative. Let me see if I fast forward this, if I come up on anything else. Hold on 1 second. No, that part that was supposed to be in here, apparently it didn't show up. But I think you get the essence of what we're trying to do. Let me come out of here and go to full screen. I think with what we have, okay, somebody else is about to jump in. I think that with what we have in the proposal that you're looking at before you, we can convince the children's board. I keep on saying children's board because they're acting like kids. But anyway, we can convince the school board to change their mind and let just elementary stage open. Mainly because we got best practices from the Harlem Street Zone to the project in Baltimore to show what happens when the community comes together. That we bring together not only an initiative related to funding, but also we combine a partnership with public, private, and community partnership. The other thing that Tate didn't say and it missed it was the thing that we bring together in terms of funding. Because we are a 501c3 community development corporation, IRS sees us in a special category when it comes to federal funding. So we're able to bring dollars to the table in which the school board can't bring to the table because they can't go after certain funding. We can, as a community development organization, go after those funds in order to supplement the funding for that program, for both programs as well as capital planning. That's why we emphasize the public-private community initiative approach, because we know it works around the nation, that in some of the most distressed neighborhoods in the country, when you bring the Community Development Corporation with the schools to increase the quality of life of residents in West Tampa. And I apologize, a lot of stuff that was supposed to be on here, it got wiped out. But anyway, that's what we had so far. It would have been like 10, 15 minutes longer. So at least we get you out here earlier. Any response?
I think I'm having a better idea of where to go with this, because the Sunday paper editorial, the opinion column, they were very adamant about closing just. And basically, I would almost say demanding that those 4 school board members continue to vote against or to vote for. In other words, they shouldn't be changing their mind in spite of the real implications. You know what I mean? They don't want them to change their vote. So I agree with you, there's opportunity, but I'm just trying to figure out, how do you reach them? How are you going to reach them?
I think Lynn was one of the possible fresh air. When she was at the children's board meeting, she made this statement. She said, I'm sorry, Janice, were you still talking?
No, go ahead. That's fine. Yeah, okay. I finished.
What she said, and I played over twice. She said, if the community came with a plan And if the community showed up, she would vote differently. What she was saying is that while she saw the NACCP there, she saw the Urban League there, she saw brothers from fraternities there, what she didn't see, because she's familiar with West Tampa, she didn't see West Tampa. That's why the purpose of coming to this meeting was to show that the West Tampa community backs that this school stays open. Not only that, we have the resource necessary to make it happen. A lot of times when people come to save their school, they don't have the resources. They can't tie into money like we can to make the deal work. And the other thing we have is the different types of funding. We're going to bring in at least 2 to 3 grant writers for the deal. In addition to that, we got the community, what is that community benefit agreement, which states that any development that comes out in any community, that the developer must show a benefit. Here's another way where we can bring in more dollars to just elementary school, as well as more dollars to economic development and things of that nature. What we bring to the table is 2 funding mechanisms to make the deal work. Then we got community engagement.
All right, so let me play devil's advocate with you here, okay?
That's good, yes.
You don't want just to be closed. So what do you want? What do you want?
Well, we want to change it into, again, a best model practice. We want to base it on what's going on in New York under the Obama administration. It's called the children, what is it called? The Harlem Children's Zone. What they did was to put together a strategy that worked with the young person from cradle to college. That's the same methodology we're going to use. And we can use that because it's the best practice. They did the same thing in Baltimore in a program called Community Building and Partnership, in which the public and private and the community came together and they changed those schools around from an F to a passing grade. So we got the best practice resources to show that here's what's been done in other places. So this is evidence-based and data-driven to show what can happen when you got like a community development corporation. In both of those cases in Baltimore and the one in New York, the difference was a community development corporation being able to access funding and resources that the public school system couldn't do.
Okay, there are 2 things that I heard. The first is that the reason why Just has that F score is because they use substitute teachers. That's the first thing. And the second part, which is unrelated to that, is there's been talk, or I read somewhere, that they'd close Just for 1 year and turn it into a Montessori school.
Reality.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what the superintendent wants to bring to the table. But let's be real. That Just is on prime property. If they close Just is not open back up again.
Okay.
That's a fact, right? Just is not going to open back up again. The superintendent is pushing this for reasons related to all the development that's going on. And again, they pushing that idea because nobody has come up with a viable plan to show why the school should stay there. And which we come up with a particular plan that works, that can keep that school open. Also, one of the reasons why the school is failing, because they don't have a one-on-one tutor. What we plan to bring to the table is to bring those resources where they got not only a one-on-one tutor, but they also have a mentor. And not only are we providing service to them, but we providing services to their family and their community. It's what we call a whole holistic approach to ensure that child is able to be successful. That's the model that we're using. Most models don't use the community development, they only use programs. We're saying we're changing the child, the community, and the family consecutively. But Janice, please keep going because I like this because it gives an opportunity to run things so we can always come prepared for anything that they
Right.
might do. So please,
Right.
anybody that wants to come from the opposite, come on, because this is an opportunity to make sure we got a full plan when we come to them.
Okay, they might go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Can you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, my opinion, okay, who were the people in the column who was pushing for just to be closed? Can we identify those people? She said she wrote the opinion in a column on Sunday.
Right, I know there was 4 people, including Lynn.
Well, I know Nadia Combs was
No.
one who closed it.
Right.
No, no, what I'm asking is you said you
Oh.
you read an article and they were
It-
encouraging for the school.
It's the newspaper. The newspaper wrote
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, we don't give a crap about the newspaper. We know what they all about.
But nevertheless,
Okay.
we always want to watch our back so we can know what they're saying about
Yeah.
it. So if that
Right,
comes up,
so
we already got an
who wrote-
answer for it.
Right,
Right.
right. Because I know you might not think it's important, but their whole thing is they don't want any of those school board members to change their minds. So evidently, they must sense that one of those or 2 of those 4 just might. That's the only reason why I brought it up.
And see, the way I sense it is that the 3 going to stay with it, that they're going to keep it open, and that we're going to flip Lynn, who's going to change over to our way.
Okay.
And we'll see. We will give it everything that we do have. We do know that this thing right here is going national. So if they did deny it, people are going to be asking, how can you deny a sound community plan that provides funding resources to students, they're building the community up. So that doesn't make sense unless there's a hidden agenda. See, what they
Okay.
was doing prior to this, they were saying, well, these people are hoping and they want to come in with tutors and everything, but they wasn't coming in with money. See, that's where we come in. We come in not only with resources, but in funding sources as well to make the deal work.
Okay.
So at least we asking is that they postpone it for a year. The same thing that they board member was asking. Why are you moving fast? Nothing can happen anyway. So give us a year to turn it
2
all
years.
around.
2
To turn
years.
it around.
Yes, that's
2
all we
years.
asking for. Give us a year, and I know we can turn it all around. You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
I'm
what
sorry.
was you about to say?
I would propose 2 years.
Well,
They can't do anything within 2 years.
Well, if they want to give us 2 years, they can. I doubt it. You see, but all we need is a year because we understand how this works and we're familiar with doing community development work. I mean, that the background I come up with over 20, 30 years in economic and community development. So I know the deal is feasible and possible. I know it's doable and I know it is sellable because we're meeting all those demands. The first thing the school board wants to know, well, what resources do you bring to the table that we can? We bring in money that you can't go after, but we can. And we know there's over at least 100,000 foundations and corporations that provide that money. In addition to that, we're willing to train anywhere between 2 and 3 people that will focus on grants to bring in to make it sustainable. So we're only asking for a grace period of a year, since nothing can happen anyway because it's not going to be graded this year. So the question becomes, why are you in a rush if the community is coming with a sound plan? We're not the only ones that's in this particular feeling for Jess. You got groups all over the place that's coming to aid for Jess. You got the Flat Brothers, you got the church of Brewer Baptist, they was doing something. So we're not saying we're by ourselves. You got a whole village that's coming. We
Exactly.
only saying we're coming with what's known as infrastructure to make the deal work. We come with the deal making of building infrastructure in terms of making the deal work. We have the capacity, we have the know-how, and we have the best practice experience to make the deal work. And this can be an example for all schools, especially if you're in the CRA area. You can access monies that other schools, other places can't. And also you
Okay.
can put money in from the community benefit package side of the table.
All right.
Thanks for
So
bringing that point up, Mr.
Yeah.
Randolph.
What's the
Because
turnaround on that money?
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead, Ms. Jennings.
The fact is that we can start immediately after going after money. You know, the one thing we have is what's known as this solvent called the Foundation Center. It's over 100,000 funders that's in that package. That's how we get our money. We know where to go at.
Okay.
So if we want to
Okay.
go today, we could find a grant like immediately. Unlike most people, and you know, I teach grant writing classes, most people will go on the line and try to find grants. Let me tell you something, only 1% of funders are online. The software we have gives us access to over 100,000 funders, not only for just elementary school, for economic development, youth program, we plan to use, and we pay for it. This is a professional source that we use. And in addition to that, related to the students, we plan to provide them with the training necessary, not the student, but 2 to 3 residents with the training necessary to first become a grant writer, and second, to as a result of that, that free service that we're going to give them, that they are then going to be at least for a year writing grants for the JUST project. And we plan to bring in developers. We plan to bring in other components. We plan to bring in the University of South Florida, University of Tampa. We plan to bring in all these different resources to make the deal work. In fact, we're asking the University of Florida to do the evaluation to show that we can do what we're going to do. So we're coming definitely as a mature organization with an understanding on how the deal works if you really want to be about the students, because that's a psychological effect that's brought upon those students that are leaving and busing and things of that nature, and it's interrupting the family as well. So it's a human cost that people are not looking at. That we come to the table and say, we want to save our babies. We know how to do this work right here.
Okay.
That was going to be my next point. How can you say no and deprive a community that's already blighted, and the trauma and the distress that it would bring on those kids to take them out of the community when they just got back to the community?
And
we have programs in place.
There you go. Added to that, it's the West Tampa CDC that's leading the effort for neighborhood transformation through all the programs that we're doing. So we're not just saying to the school that, hey, it's just an educational program. We're saying it's part of an overall strategy, economic, social, and physical development, and what we call community development as a strategy to change that school around. We're not talking programs, we're talking infrastructure as an approach to change that school around. And it's based on best practices that show that it does work. Because I know one of the things they should have is where your evidence. So we can provide them with the cold facts that everything that these entities are doing that made it a passing school, we got it in place plus more, because we're using the community development perspective. I think that we might win over related to that. But if we don't, that doesn't mean that we don't go there and do everything we can to save JUST. We think that because we're coming from a business model, it's not a social service model. We're coming with a business model, like any business corporation that comes to you and say, we want to do a partnership to bring in some investment. And our investment is people and money.
And you know what's great about that? How could they say no? how do you say no when an offer is being made to address the issue to keep the kids where they are? How do you say no? It's going to be on them.
Exactly. See, the only thing we can do as a community is put together the most plausible and feasible response to the school system. And like I say, and like I'm telling them tomorrow, I'm going to air live the school board meeting. Because I got people from New York, Chicago, Philly, California, Baltimore, and all those in-between states that are watching what we're doing in Tampa, because they also are affected with schools being closed in Black and Brown community. They see us as the model to use the same strategy in their neighborhood. Because at the end of the day, we're coming with an economic development strategy, not social. We're talking money and resources.
Well, Mr.
Okay.
Randolph, this is my question that I would ask. How can you not give a parent in a community the opportunity to better their neighborhood and have the same opportunities that you want in your neighborhood with your children in your community when you have these practices outlined? And these practices are, I think you call them best practices.
Yes.
And the communities that they gave the choice and left there happy don't even have these practices and plans that you have presented in place.
And not only that, let me emphasize this because it's so very important. Because the superintendent made a statement, and I hope that he does and go back and do his research. He made a statement that all of the new developments come, that they don't want their kids to go to JES. What I'm saying to them, they haven't been approached. We plan to approach all those new developments and connect them to JES to populate their school. Because we're dealing with all major development that's coming to West Tampa. So part of our strategy is to increase the size of schools by connecting with these two new developers. Once they see an organization like the West Tampa CDC revitalizing the community, of course, they want to go take their kids to JES Elementary. And we're going to bring some awesome programs in there, like technology, teaching kids that age how to do artificial intelligence, how to do chat GPA, and that's just the beginning. We want to change JES to a world-renowned school. We want to show what you can do when you got the community coming with a good plan.
And that's important.
If we do not do it, it's not because we didn't try.
Yes, that's important because it's going to be a teaching opportunity for the parents also.
Yes, and look, the other thing that's important, man, we not only are we talking about working with the child, we're talking about working with the family, and we're talking about working with the community. We're coming with a holistic approach. There's not many programs that can do that. They can help the child, right, but they have nothing to do with the family or the community. We bring a whole holistic best practice approach. For them to deny us, at the end of the day, and I do plan on sending this to the school board, excuse me for all the insults I did for people. But anyway, at the end of the day, we're fighting for our community, folks. So for the children's board members that's going to see this prior to the meeting, look, we just doing what we do because our babies are the most important thing to us. So we just simply don't believe in not fighting. We did it when they tried to close the post office. We did it when they tried to close the library. Both times we came. This time we come together as a village. Every time we come as a village, we change the narrative. So any other things from the side that I might want to think about that they might bring at us? If so, make sure if somebody has their hand up. Pete, do you have your hand up? Blake, Denise? Somebody have their hand up? You can unmute yourself? No? Okay, I saw your hand up. I thought maybe you wanted to ask a question. If you did want to ask a question, you have to unmute your mic. But folks, that's what we wanted to present tonight. We're going to send this national. People from around the country is looking at it. I think we got a cannot lose type of proposal. We didn't think of this by night. We put a lot of thinking into this particular plan right here. We made sure that we put together a winnable, feasible, doable, sellable plan that a person cannot change unless they got an alternative motive. And we're hoping that the children's board will change its position. In fact, we encourage the children's board to tell every community to come with a packet like the West Tampa CDC and the West Tampa community to save this school. So before we sign out tonight,
would you restate that? We're asking, would you restate that you're gonna ask the school board to come with a,
I'm
you
sorry,
said
what was that again?
you're gonna ask the school board, your last statement, you said we were gonna ask the school board.
I was talking so fast. What did I say, Janice? Did you pick up on that?
Well, I think you were saying I think you were saying that the school, we want to see if the school board and any other community or any other place in the United States have a better plan than Mr. Randolph just presented.
Man, I think very few places in at least in Florida, if not the nation, has a strategy that we have. We have what's known as a a new school, next generation approach to how we transform poor communities. As a matter of fact, I encourage the school board to vote in our favor. Use this as an example so other communities, especially in brown and black communities, have a hope to keeping their schools open. I mean, that's our plan. We've always met issues when it comes to West Tampa in which they want to take things from us. But we've always come together and as a unified community to say, hey, homie, don't play that. So we
can I ask Mr. Randolph if the school board doesn't vote for this plan and we have put all these efforts in place, do you think the Black and brown community as a whole should get together and perhaps we have to do some legal challenges?
Well, I tell you what, with the deal that we have for all those people that's running for office next year, we're coming back and we're going to see you during the election. Okay? We will see you during the election because your vote have implications. And if we don't get you here, we will see you at the polls because we will mount an aggressive effort for brown and black communities throughout Hillsborough County. And you've never seen an attack like that before, to come together as a unified effort. We don't threaten you. We don't want to threaten you. The only thing we want is our kids to be safe and for the community to give an opportunity to take care of it. We are a village in West Tampa, and the village is coming to protect our kids. So before we roll out tonight, anything else? And I appreciate y'all participating because you got your community groups here. Now, Janice, what neighborhood group do you represent?
I represent the district, but I live in Old West Tampa area.
Old West Tampa, okay, that's what's important.
But they're active, Mike. I sense that they're not active, the association.
Well, the fact of the matter is that they exist. That's one of the things we're going to do during our community mobilization. We're going to reunite all of those neighborhood groups with new members and help them to do what they need to do. But you do represent a neighborhood group, as does Athena represent your neighborhood group. What neighborhood group are you coming from?
West Riverfront Crime Watch.
Okay. Anybody else here from a neighborhood group or anybody else here with the concern related to what we talked about? Because everybody has been quiet. I don't know if that's because we're doing so good or you can't get to your mic, or whatever. Nevertheless, look, everybody, I want to really thank you for coming tonight. This is going to be national in scope in terms of what we're doing. We're going to be putting this on over our social media. In addition to this, we're sending a copy to the school board before they meet tomorrow at 4 p.m. So we'll take it from there. But I tell you what, we're going to give it our best. And I think we got a convincing argument. Because what?
Mhm.
We're about the numbers.
Great.
We don't play. We understand how to do a deal. That's the thing you're going to learn about West Tampa. We understand economic development, and we understand community development to make the deal work. So look, guys, I want to thank you again for your participation. Again, I'm going to send a copy of this to each of you also individually, so you can have your copy for you as well as shared with the nation. So before we roll out tonight, anybody want to add on?
Just, are you going to mail that or send that to us tonight?
Yeah,
Did you plan?
To do is to take it, hoping that I did actually get to record it. What I'm going to do is to take it to YouTube and make it a shareable, type of link. So you can just click on it and go to YouTube.
Okay, great.
And
Okay.
I plan to do that tonight too. And please, folks, think about what I say. So as people begin to tell you that just to be closed, that you got an argument, they say, no, it shouldn't, because we as a community have the resources to keep just open. And I'm saying this, it's not only about just. Any school in West Tampa, we plan as a village to come and take care of our kids. So that being said, any last words before we roll out tonight?
I
just
just
want
want to thank you
I
for
just-
bringing this for this issue forward. And I've been in this community fighting for over 27 years. And we're gonna fight to the end.
We're gonna fight to the end. You see, fight to the end. I really appreciate y'all, because y'all my ride or die. I also always can depend on y'all when we go to battle. Seriously, it's very free, but the free that do come is the most powerful to speak for the very many. But that's life. It's always a very few that impact the very many. But everybody will take credit when everything goes right, like they did it. Anyway, folks, look, I'm out of here. I'll see everybody. Well, we do have a community meeting that's coming up on the 17th, in which is going to be called Health, Public Safety, and Economic Development. It's going to show the relationship between crime and health, and economic development, to show that that's a holistic approach that we plan to use to reduce crime in the community, that increases programs for young people to have an opportunity to say no, as well as other things. So again, everybody, thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.